Can everybody hear me? Hey guys, thank you for having me and thanks for sticking around. I just want to take you through Stella Swap and more specifically our new sort of bid-to-earn auction mechanism. Just a show of hands, how many people have sort of used Stella Swap here? Okay, cool, awesome. So just a bit about background. Stella Swap is the leading DEX on top of Moonbeam, and hopefully one of the leading DEXs on Polkadot as well. So we've been around for about 18 months now. We went mainnet on the same day as Moonbeam went mainnet. And since then, we've been sort of really busy trying to build deep infrastructure and creating very capital efficient sort of trading routes for the Moonbeam and the broader Polkadot ecosystem. As a result of that, we probably have 75% of sort of dominance on sort of Polkadot trading outside of centralized exchanges, and that's continuing to grow. So if anybody's a bit of a data geek here, please do go check out our analytics, and you can find some very interesting trading routes there. So yeah, just a bit about us. We have 5,000 to 10,000 active users on a monthly basis. And on a daily sort of level, we're doing anything between $1 and $3 million of trading volume. So something that we've noticed over the past year is our user profile has actually changed. So initially, we went to market, we had all the retail users coming in, just mainly for the pump. Now we're seeing institutional adoption coming in. So we're being regularly approached by market makers, liquidity providers, big whales who are looking to come into the Polkadot ecosystem via Moonbeam. So Alberto sort of mentioned all the great infrastructure that's been built there. So something that we're really kind of passionate about is the projects in the crypto space, and we're beginning to since the early days of when Polkadot started, there were a handful of the projects, protocols on the Polkadot ecosystem. Now it's just massively expansive, and with bridging infrastructure, we're also seeing cross-chain assets flow very easily into Polkadot, but also outside of the Polkadot ecosystem. And as a result, we kind of get asked by new projects, how do we come and get list on the DEX? How do we get past the noise? Can we use your community? Can we get some support from the DEX just to build a bit of hype around the project? So for the past, I'd say 6 to 9 months, we've been sort of thinking long and hard about how do we bring new projects to market. And the most sort of popular mechanisms that are out there are typically auction mechanisms, launch pads, IDO platforms. And we sort of analyze the top three or four sort of mechanisms. First one being sort of fixed price sort of crowd sales. Now this is, you have your traditional sort of pump and dump schemes. You have, oh, it's gone off. I lost the screen there. Hey guys, can I just get some AV support here, please?
He's lost the screen, G.
But yeah, I'll continue anyway. So you typically have 3 types of auctions. Your standard sort of ICO crowd sales, or your launch pads. Problem with that is you have a lot of pump and dump schemes. Then you have bots that are typically trading, so they'll come in and out for you. And on the other spectrum, you have you have your batch auctions. So your batch auctions, again, are very complex user experiences and can be difficult for new projects to set up and get started on. So what we've done over the past year is find out who are the best sort of partners in the space that we can work with. And someone we identified was a small company called GBM. And they have this really cool mechanism where they're able to bundle tokens. Who here has ever used Avagochi? Played around with Avagochi? It's sort of like a trading platform on top of the Aave protocol. You trade the little ghosts. So they were the engine behind Avagochi that traded about $60 million. And their mechanism is something called bid to earn. Now, by the name, you can kind of have a good educated guess. Essentially, when the bidder is outbidded by by person number 2, they'd also get a small share. Person 1 would get a small share of the revenue that bidder 2 has transacted on that. I've got a nice little video that will kind of explain that if we can get the AV hopefully back up. And yes, that's a mechanism. It's bid to earn. So on the $60 million that GBM did on Avagochi, about $5 million of that was returned back to the bidders. So it's a really fun, engaging, gamified user experience for the bidders. And what that does is it allows projects to actually get good exposure, number one, but also get a fair price valuation before they go to the market. Now, why did we partner with GBM? They have this other real fantastic tool. So as I mentioned, the tokens get bundled into tokens. And what you can do is you can choose the whale factor behind the project. So do you want to have a high concentration of whales that are bidding on your token? Do you want to have a fairly normally distributed number of bidders on the protocol? Or do you want to have a very low whale engagement? And what this does is it sort of prevents lots of bots coming in and trading and buying up massive supplies of project tokens when they go live. And so GBM have an algorithm which, let's just say there are, for simple math, let's just say there are 100 tokens being minted on, thank you very much. I just want to show a quick video just to explain this a little bit better. Sorry, do we have audio? No audio. All right, we will skip the video. Yeah, so just how the bid to earn works. Essentially, there is an incentive function just to make sure every bidder is winning on every trade, and there's an instant payout back to the bidders, and there is an end time on when the auction ends. Essentially, more activity, more revenues, and incredibly fun to trade on. So let me give you an example of what actually happens if you're a project looking to start an IDO. So essentially, you'll pick your number of tokens you want to sell. Let's just say 50,000 tokens here. And you choose the smallest and the largest bundle size. So let's just say your largest bundle size is 2,000 tokens. And your smallest bundle size is 0.2 tokens. And then what GBM's AI does is they use something called the coins and notes sort of number scale. It generates how the token bundles should be packaged up. So as I mentioned, then the project chooses what is their whale factor. Let's just say, for example, they choose a low whale factor. And then GBM's distribution engine will make sure the tokens are distributed in such a way that it's a bit difficult to see here, but you'll see the supply of tokens to whales is only 8%. Because they chose a low whale factor, they wanted to have a higher retail usage where then there are 30% of the supply goes to majority of the users and everything else is evenly distributed in between that. So then we have a token listing sort of UI where the project chooses their parameters of the auction. And then we have an auction page where then it just lists the token bundles, and then the user can go in and bid on the projects. As I mentioned, the real cool thing here is I was hoping to show a demo, but I'm not going to risk it at the moment. The cool thing is every time someone bids, they're always going to be winning based on whatever the next person has bidded on. And at the moment, that's typically about 1% off the following bid that comes on. So yeah, I did have a demo. I'm not going to use that, but if anybody here would like to please take a screenshot. We're currently sort of testing heavily on Moonbase Alpha, and you can see a couple of dummy token projects on there. Thank you very much. Any questions? So if I've got 1 minute maybe.
Brilliant. Come on, there's got to be a couple of questions here.
Who's going to give it a go first?
It's always just that one person to break the ice.
That's right. I know.
Here we go.
Hello. Here you speak of wall and not wall. But also, one big issue for this type of topic is the question of the botting. And do you address something to protect against the botting? Because if you have, so many small people who don't have walls, okay, I'm a walls, I make a bot, and I take all. So do you have addressed some solution or some thinking to also protect against botting to take all?
Yeah, we're working on or GBM rather have like an anti-bot mechanism where every trade there is like a time delay on when they can bid. So that's coming. One other thing you just reminded me that I forgot to mention is a really important part is that the tokens that are minted, they're not actually the project tokens, they're NFT sort of receipts. When we interviewed a lot of projects that are coming to list on the DEX, we realize they have really poor, not poor, in some cases they have low quality engineering standards and security standards in place. So this is where we give the users the NFT receipt. So when they go live, the Stella Swap team, we have a very high security sort of protocol in place. We can do a light level sort of audit on how they're minting their own tokens. Once we're happy with their smart contract sort of token minting standards, and how the team is sort of managed, et cetera, the operational processes, we will then release the tokens to the receipt holders of the project. So that's a really important thing to mention, number one. And number two, what this also enables, especially to be on an EVM compatible chain, is that now from Moonbeam, we can actually list tokens onto other EVM compatible chains. So if a project was like, look, we want to come and list on 10 different protocols that are EVM compatible, and they can do that instantly with sort of a couple of clicks, and we can enable that to happen. Yeah, thank you very much. I think.
Anyone else? Jake, come on. Fellow South African voice.
Hopefully it's fairly easy to understand.
I think it was. All right. Well, and you're way ahead of time, man. That was really impressive. Folks, give it up for T from Stella Swap.